Hello and welcome to this new channel. This is called Skills Buffet and my name is Nihal Pandey. I am a software engineer and on this channel I am planning to share what I learn on a day-to-day basis as a software engineer. Since past few weeks most of the Jira tickets that were assigned to me are somehow related to the security from the UI side or from the front end. So this got me interested in this domain and I am planning to make a 10 video series of how you can ensure that your React app is secure. So let's get started. As a first step of making your web application secure, the first thing you can do is to implement some kind of content security policy to your application. So first we will learn about this. So what is a content security policy? Content security policy is a security feature that help us prevent many kind of attacks such as cross-site scripting or data injection attacks. So this was just a bookish definition. In simpler terms, content security policy help us to limit the number of endpoints that we can target from our UI. Now, since all talks and no code makes Jack a bad programmer, so let's directly jump into the code and see what it is. So now let's get started. So first of all, we will try to build a basic MERN app with a React front end and Express backend. So let's first make our directory. Okay, so our MERN directory is created. We will be going into this folder, cd MERN app. Now in this folder, we will be making two different folders, for one for server and one for client. MKDIR. Okay, now we will be going into the client directory, cd client, CLIENT client, and we will be initiating our React app here. This is an npx create create npx create React app. Okay, I'm using a PowerShell terminal, and my system because of this it's showing some error. I will be fixing it later. For now, we can just change our terminal to new, let's say, this one will be edit bash terminal. Okay. Okay, now here we will be doing cd MERN app and app. And now we will initiate our React app here. So npx create app. Now, if you are already familiar with how to create a React app or establishing Express server, you can just skip to this timestamp and there we can just go to the crux of the video. Okay, now our client boilerplate is ready. Now we can create our server boilerplate and let's get into it. cd server. And now we will just initialize a Node.js app pminit dot y. We'll be installing Express. Express. Now, first of all, let's just open our MERN project folder in our VS Code. So we'll be opening the MERN app folder here. Select folder. Yeah. So now you can see we have our basic CRA create React app in client, and in server we have basic node module package.json and package log.json. That is basically we have initialized our node project here. Now let's just create a new file server.js in our server. New file server.js server.js. Let's keep our s small. I won't bore you with typing the code. I have a boilerplate code with me, so I will be pasting it here. And yeah, so we have just initialized all the requirements of Express and Path, and we have a code. I don't have an environment file, so I will just put code to 3001, and I think. Yeah, our build is not ready, so this folder will not go there. But once we will run the build, we will have a build folder in our client directory. And yes, and yeah, index.html. Yeah, rest everything looks fine to me here. Okay, good. Okay, let's just check one more thing on the server side that we have our scripts on point. So yeah, in the scripts, I will be adding to a script to start our server. Start node server.js, node server.js. We are server.js. Cool. And yeah, it will be a comma here. Nice. I think we are good to go on the server side. In the client side, I will have to again change app.js file. So in app.js, we have this basic boilerplate. I will be deleting it. I have again the basic code from ChatGPT. So without wasting your and my time, we can just paste it here. Okay, other than hello world, I have some tags here that I will be using to explain the main topic of the video, that is content security policy. So now let's just run our client and server. So I will be adding here one port with bash terminal for client and one for server. So you see the client npm done build. Okay. And for server, we will be going to server cd server, and we will start the server here npm start. Okay, now our server is running at the port 3001 with client loaded at it. Yeah, here. So I don't find a image here. So let me just use another image and run the build again. Okay, now our server is running at the port 3001 with our client build loaded on it. So let's see what we have. Yeah, on here on port 3001, we have the image that we have added from Unsplash. We have some jQuery script added to it, and a CDN of font awesome. So yes, and this is what we have created, and the image that I am using is of very high resolution. So, but that is not of our concern to on this topic. So let's just move on to the main topic, that is content security policy. Now, what do you think will happen if I change this image link from Unsplash to, let's say, Pixel image link or some other uh, image provider websites link? We can obviously do that, and this will we will get our result with a new image, and that exactly how it is has to work in this infrastructure. Similarly, goes for script. If I can use any other script from other than jQuery, then also it will run, and same goes for the CDN links from the Cloudflare. So this is completely okay if you're developing college projects or some of your personal projects. But when you're developing a web app or a website that has to be used by external people, and it is for a corporation or a company, definitely it is not a good practice to be able to use any sort of links in our projects. So in our content security policy, we will be exactly doing this, that we will restrict our app to use what links we will be using or what links we will not be using. In a production level code, basically these image sources are linked to your S3 bucket or something like that, so that you only hit those endpoints that are reliable, and you only use those resources that are secure. In many of the cases, tools like JFrog artifactories are used to host these links and resources, so that they are secured and only hit by a certain organization or a certain group of projects. So now let's see how you do a similar kind of barricading for your MERN app, so that you can protect it from any other kind of outside resources or outside attacks. So the basic use case is that there's any hacker can come and change these links with their own, and just your website or web app is exposed to them, and they can do whatever they want now, as they have injected their JavaScript file to your app. So in Node.js, to establish a content security policy, we have a library called Helmet that is used to add a content security policy to your project. So now let's just go to npm page of Helmet, and let's see what it is. So if I type Helmet, let's Helmet npm. Yeah. So this is the page for the library. So you can read more about it here, and do a basic know-how. You can go to a GitHub page and learn more about it, what all things it provide, that can be your research work. We can just go to get started and see what all you can do. And here we have our content security policy that I am talking about. So let's just do it here, and it's just talking about how you can configure different headers, and the self denotes that anything is that is there in your local, you can point to it, and obviously you should allow that. So here is the main crux that we will be dealing with this in this video. You can obviously see the whole package and understand more about it. Yeah, so we have different derivatives for the scripts, for objects, for images, and again, I will be taking a little help from ChatGPT to give me a content security policy related changes in our server, so that we can add it and see what all we have got. Obviously, you are free to do experiments and do changes around it. Just to save time, we will be using something that is given to us by a ChatGPT prompt. So let's get to our server folder, and obviously you can use things like nodemon to so that you don't have to refresh the server again and again. And just we will stop the server for now, and let's just install our library that we have seen helmet npm install express helmet npm install express helmet. Now we will just replace the our server.js with change the server.js to see what we have got. So let's just replace our server.js, and we have imported the helmet here, and we are using it with multiple parameters that we have defined. But let's just go down and see what happens if that parameters are not basically met. And there are two ways to look upon it. Let's say you want to report only if there's a property to report only, and you can just check with whether it's something is violated or not, or you have to restrict that anything is not to be violated. That is your own choice. So for here we have the report only as true. Okay, so I am re-recording this part because the audio of last part got corrupted. Till now we have seen that we have imported helmet and we have declared our content security policy directives as shown here. Like for scripts, we can only get a script from jQuery or Cloudflare link, or we can get from our file system. Similarly for styles, image, API sources, fonts and media sources. And whenever any of our directives are violated, we are returned with this URL. And whenever we see a violation, we just log our message in the terminal like this. So currently, to test these changes, I have changed my image link from Unsplash to Pixels, and you can see that we are getting a CPS violation in our terminal. And as you can see here, we are currently unable to load the image that we have sent. But if I again change this image link of some image from Unsplash, we will again be able to see the image. Let's do it. So here I have this image from Unsplash. So I will just copy its link and replace this with our current image source. And we will have to run our client once again to have our build folder. cd client client npm run build. Okay, so our new build is our ready. Now we will run the server again and see if the image is loaded or not. As you can see, the image that we picked from Unsplash is now loaded, and we don't see any policy violation here. So our security policy is running as given. You can obviously experiment with other directives like font and APIs and see whether we are able to hit those endpoints or not. And obviously we will be doing that in further videos as well. Okay, so this was it for today's video. In next video we will try to implement authentication and authorization using the JWT token. And also we will learn to create protected routes so that only authorized users can see a particular page. Okay, so this was it for today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked or learned anything new from this video, and also do subscribe to the channel so that the algorithm knows that this content is valuable. And thanks for watching.